I'm John Jackson, joined this week by our Formula E commentator, Lewis McGlade, as we look forward to a brand new season in the All-Electric Championship. It's season 12, and most importantly, it's the last season of the Gen 3 era. We've had 2 years of the Gen 3 car, we've then had 1 season so far of the Gen 3 Evo car, and we've already had a sneak peek at Gen 4, which will start in the end of 2026. But for now, we are here, and I mean, the Gen 3 development, when we have these 4-year cycles in Formula E, as we do in any motorsport, Lewis, the further you get along in that cycle, the closer the cars are. And Formula E is already very close racing. So I think this year, in terms of who's going to win the title, how many names do you want to suggest? 10?
This is one of the interesting ones that I was talking about with a couple of mates earlier in the week. That you go into a season of Formula One and you think, well, there's like 3 or 4 drivers that you can see winning the championship, sometimes even less than that, right? And you go into it and you think, cool, that's that. Even through preseason testing, I kind of understand how things are going. In Formula E, there's a reason we have had 10 different champions in 11 years, right? And the reason why I can absolutely see that being 11 from 12, because some of the drivers that haven't won the championship, your likes of especially Cassidy and Evans, for example, I can definitely see them winning the title. Taylor Barnard as well is another one to chuck in there at DS Penske. There's so many drivers where I'm looking at it thinking they can win a title and they haven't won one yet, but something inside makes me think we're going to get a repeat winner this year.
We'll get back to this video in just a second, but first I want to talk to you about this. This is the Nextbase Pico, and this will keep you and other people safe on the roads this festive period. It's a connected compact dash cam which will record every single journey you make in high definition, and they've got a cheeky little offer going on at the moment which I think you will like. Now, we know what people are like on the roads. We've all been driving to see friends and family and got cut up by someone. And maybe you're going to a racetrack and you're going to go and watch the professionals do it. And there's probably a lot of professionals not out there on the motorways of the UK. Well, look, this will record everything in high definition, sharp detail. There is a 1K and a 2K version. So whatever happens, it means you've got evidence for whatever goes on the roads. It's not just about the footage though. The Pico's packed with smart safety features that every driver needs, and of course it's from the UK's leading dashcam brand, which was recently crowned Trusted Review's best dashcam of 2025. It's super compact, even I can install it and you won't even notice it on your windscreen. Now pair it with the Nextbase app, set it up, control it from there. It couldn't be simpler for you. There's even a smart parking feature that keeps an eye on your car while you're away, automatically recording if it detects any movement or impact. And trust me, my car just got hit by something in the wind and I'm livid because I didn't have a dash cam installed. Now, if the worst does happen, the emergency SOS system can alert emergency services and share your exact location to help you get help faster. And with Witness Mode Lite, you can quickly alert a friend or family member if you feel unsafe on the road, which is definitely something I reckon parents should be thinking about. With prices starting at under £100, this would make a fantastic stocking filler for yourself or for someone in your family. And actually, if you leave your Christmas shopping late, like I do every single year, no matter how much I say I'm going to do it early, between the 4th of December and Christmas Eve, the 24th of December, you'll get the Pico 2K for £30 off the recommended retail price, meaning you get your hands on it for just £89. You can go and fill your car up with half a tank of fuel or book a ticket to watch some excellent racing in the United Kingdom in 2026. Protect your journeys with confidence with the Nextbase Pico. Go to the Nextbase website for more information or check out Halfords, Argos or Currys for more today. Stay safe, stay connected, and enjoy the road ahead. If you're brand new to Formula E, if you've come across some other motorsports or you're just checking it out for the first time, very, very simple. There are 10 teams competing this year in the championship, 2 drivers in each team. It's an all-electric championship and it has been since its inception, net zero from day zero. It's all about fast, close racing, but also sustainability. And Formula E is history, and this may change going forward, but it's always been on street circuits and we've seen some epic races around some huge world cities. My favorite one used to be Rome, but unfortunately, I think it cost quite a lot to close down pretty central Rome to race around, and we've seen some epic racing and also some pretty epic smashes, and I think that maybe led to them going, well, this is maybe a little bit not right for the new car, it's a bit too fast here. When we look at the teams, there'll be teams that you might recognize, like Andretti, for example, and teams you may know nothing about, like Mahindra, who are a huge Indian automotive company and seriously investing in the future. They've just committed to Gen 4 as well. Looking at some of the drivers who can potentially win the championship, first of all, if it is to be a new driver, as you've suggested there, then you would look at the person that finished second in the championship last year. That's Nick Cassidy. He's been at Jaguar TCS Racing for a couple of seasons, and he's now moved across to a brand new team, which has come from the ashes of a former team, as often happens in motorsports, Citroën Formula E team, alongside Jean-Eric Vergne, a man who certainly knows what it's like to win a Formula E title, and you may know him from back in the Formula One days as well. I think for Nick Cassidy, though, keeping that form that he had last year, especially in the second half of the season, going into a brand new team and a brand new setup, where he told me at testing he's had to learn a bit of French because most of the people there are French. There's a lot of learning going on, and it feels like coming straight into that season, it might be a tough ask for him.
I think it might be a little bit of a tall order for Cassidy to be the one. If I was leaning to anyone that was like obviously in and around the contention point over the last couple of years, I'd actually lean a little bit more towards a Mitch Evans remaining at Jaguar TCS Racing, and of course somewhere he's been pretty comfortable since the very start of his Formula E career. I'd lean a little bit more his way to maybe find that form. But Cassidy had such impressive form. He's on 3 in a row. Now, I've built a brand new spreadsheet, John, as you know me, and I love my stats, statistics, and spreadsheets. 3 in a row is the most any driver has ever done in Formula E's history. Now, Cassidy then, on 3 in a row at the moment, could technically make it 4 in a row if he's able to win the Sao Paulo E-Prix on Saturday. I just don't know if it's going to be the case. I don't think it's going to click immediately, but I do think one of the 17 races, absolutely, Cassidy is going to win.
Yeah, I think it's a high chance. Jean-Eric Vergne, his teammate, the only person that's won the championship twice so far. You've suggested we might see a repeat winner. Now, at the moment, Oliver Rowland, who's a British driver from Barnsley, very normal guy, very unassuming, not the kind of Monaco type of guy that you might expect to see in motorsport. Just had a second child, very settled, moved to the Middle East with his partner. He's got 2 kids, like just, your everyday kind of guy. He's the current champion. He could win again. Been very, very strong with the Nissan Formula E team, and certainly seems to click with that team, having stepped away and then returned there and kind of feels like his home. But then you look at some of the other drivers, Pascal Wehrlein, who's with Porsche and has been there or thereabouts after winning the championship the year before. He would be a good shout to win the championship again. I'm going to look down the list and say probably, Jake Dennis. I feel that Jake Dennis, who's got a new teammate this year, might have some extra impetus and someone who's fighting him harder, which might actually push Jake into that zone where he is, like when he won the championship in season 9, he's on the money every single weekend, and barring some bad luck along the way, could become a double champion. And obviously that driver alongside him is someone that we've already mentioned, Felipe Drugovich, who's now got a new home. What do you make of that partnership?
I think it's interesting. Obviously, Drugovich being a rookie, kind of, you don't really know necessarily where they're going to go when it comes to rookies. But let's be honest, the last proper rookie that we had in Formula E was Taylor Barnard, and he impressed everyone by basically blowing a lot of the drivers out of the water. And I think Drugovich is in that kind of camp where I definitely think he could be good enough to do so. But let's be honest, if one of those two is going to be contending for a championship, you would have to say it's going to be Jake. I'll chuck another driver who could win a second championship into the ring. I think Antonio Felix da Costa. He's one of the drivers that's done the whole 3 race victories in a row. He's taken part for a new team for him, Jaguar TCS Racing. I mentioned it earlier. I think he's in a good shout. If that Jaguar is quick like it was at the end of last season, I think he's in a great position to potentially win a second title.
Yeah, Jaguar TCS Racing have been impressive over the years, but one thing that's evaded them has been the drivers' title. They've won the team's championship. The drivers' championship is something that's evaded them, but has also evaded Mitch Evans. And there's a lot of thought and talk in the paddock already after testing that this may be Mitch's final year to win the drivers' championship for Jaguar, because after this year, he may fancy a fresh challenge. So a lot going on Mitch Evans this year. Of course, we look ahead to this first race of the season in Brazil this coming weekend. And I mean, Mitch Evans last year, he did something that's very rarely done in motorsports.
Yeah, one from last. Absolutely incredible drive. I mean, a breathtaking race. I think... I mean, he has certain circuits that he seems to click at. I think you're disappointed that Rome's not on the calendar anymore. I think the only person who's probably more disappointed is Mitch Evans, because he used to be mega at Rome. By the way, the win from last on the grid, that's as far as I'm aware, when I was going to the stats, has never happened in Formula E.
I think someone's won from maybe second last before, but not from last. Or I can't remember. I think there might be something that's happened. I can't remember. But let's just say that. Let's take that for fact. That, I mean, that's a seriously impressive start to a season. And then, unfortunately for Mitch, he had an absolute stinker of a season after that. So it was like this huge success after, I mean, if you're a Formula E fan, you'll know this, but after, going into the final weekend of the year with a chance to win the championship, and his teammate Nick Cassidy at the time having a chance to win the championship, and then neither of them winning the championship that day, there was a lot of stress. I've heard that maybe that Mitch didn't contact anyone from the team for over a month after that. Like, there was no contact. That's how much space he needed from the situation. So I think this is why we're on a bit of a sort of a knife edge of Mitch wins a championship and leaves, or leaves and looks for a new opportunity elsewhere. So that's fascinating. Another new driver on the grid is Pepe Marti. Moved across from F2 to partner Dan Ticktum at, I don't want to call them the banter team, because that makes them sound like not successful. And they won a race last year, Cupra Kiro. I say banter because they are the ones on social media that, if you're not a Formula E fan, you've probably seen their social media already, because it seems to pop up. They're very inventive and they're very tongue-in-cheek with what they say. However, that's another underrated, or maybe not underrated, but maybe sort of a dark horse driver lineup to do pretty well this season, because they've got a Porsche powertrain. Porsche has been one of the strongest powertrains over the last couple of years or so. You've got Dan Ticktum, who now has tasted the podium, he's tasted the race win, and you've got a young, hungry F2 driver that's moved across, very much like what Taylor Barnard did last season, who wants to challenge him. Seems like a recipe for success.
It's one that I'm very curious about, because I did think when Pepe Marte got announced for the team, I was like, that's a bit of an odd call. Maybe someone that I probably wouldn't have necessarily suggested that I was expecting Pepe Marte to go. But do you know what? I like it. I like some of the bold calls that team managers make. I like the calls to move for a driver to move out of the Formula One career ladder limelight and go, do you know what? I'm actually going to try my career somewhere else. It's quite brave to do, and I think it's a good shout. I think it's a pretty solid team, and very curious to see how Marty gets along. I think Ticktum's going to have a great season.
Yeah, I hope so. It's one of those interesting things where we can't actually predict much here. We can talk about who should do well, but Formula E is so close that it's very unpredictable. Just a couple of other drivers I want to touch upon, and one of them is a potential title winner for a second time. That is Nick De Vries, who alongside Eden Mortara at Mahindra had a really good end to the season. 2 second place finishes at the end of last season in London, and Mahindra have taken huge strides forward. Outside chance to win another title, knowing how well Nick knows this championship, having won the title back in 2021. Hang on, 2022.
He was the first world champion.
Yes, the first world champion, yes.
Yeah, there was season 7, so it was 2020, 2021. I think Nick De Vries is a great shout, but again, it's too unpredictable. I have a fear that Mahindra will go into it with a lot of confidence after how they finished last season, and maybe something won't click immediately. And that's the thing. I think a lot of the teams have this feeling that you need to click immediately in Formula E. And I think Ollie Rowland proved that last year that you didn't, because he scored 0 points from the opening race of the season and then still absolutely dominated the competition. So I don't know why I get that vibe that I think Mahindra are a team that get into their own head a little bit. But I do get that vibe a little bit.
You never know. You never know. And also, finally, welcome to Joel Eriksson, who has driven in a Formula E race or two before, but he joins now full-time with Envision alongside Seb Buemi, who last year won his first race for, I think it was 7 years, another former champion in Formula E. So he certainly knows how to do it, and it'll be interesting to see whether Envision can have a better season than they had last year, because on the whole, it was a very disappointing season for them. Also, drivers we not mentioned, Nico Müller has stepped up to be alongside Pascal Wehrlein at the Porsche team. I think that was always going to happen. Lucas de Grassi alongside Zayn Maloney at Lola Yamaha Apt. Lucas de Grassi got some points last year. Zayn Maloney still hasn't got a single point yet. So I think that could be a bit of pressure on Zayn Maloney early on. And obviously Maximilian Gunter alongside Taylor Barnard at DS Penske could be a good partnership. I'm not entirely sure how well they get on. It's going to be fascinating to see. You can obviously watch this on ITV and also TNT in the United Kingdom. And for the first time this season, you can listen to every single race on the talkSPORT network. So we're going to have selected races on talkSPORT 2, such as this Saturday, where you can listen straight after our championship doubleheader at 5 p.m. And you'll also be able to watch every single race on a watch along on the talkSPORT YouTube channel as well, where you'll get to see Lewis alongside your co-host. And I think it's a revolving co-host, but I think this weekend it's a very familiar face to Formula E viewers and listeners, Saunders Carmichael Brown, where you'll be talking us through the action, and you'll be able to watch that and see all the stats on the talkSPORT Driving YouTube channel and the talkSPORT main YouTube channel as well. So more opportunities for you to see and listen to Formula E this season on the talkSPORT network. It all starts at 5 p.m. on Saturday afternoon on both the talkSPORT YouTube channel and talkSPORT 2.